Hello there. Thank you for joining me today and watching my video. This is Stephanie with Trillium Tarot, and my goal for this video is just to briefly explain some of the differences in sizes that you will come across when you are doing your own tarot shopping. You know who you are. So for comparison purposes, I did a little arts and crafts project here. I took an American dollar bill and drew it out on some, I guess this is foam board or something. Anyway, this is the size of American currency. I gave myself $1 billion because that buys a lot of tarot cards. You can see that a dollar bill is approximately 6 1/8 inch by 2.5 inches. So let's start out with the traditionally sized tarot deck, where this is the mass-produced size. You know, if you order from Amazon or buy at Barnes & Noble and so on, you generally come across cards that are about this size. So this is the traditional size. And as far as the actual dimensions, a traditional mass-produced deck is about 4 3/4 inches by about 2 3/4 inches. So if I compare that to my dollar bill, the dollar bill is longer than this one, obviously, but it's pretty darn close to the same width. So that gives you an idea of the traditionally sized tarot deck. Now, a lot of they're called indie decks, where they are tarot decks that are created and printed by independent artists. If you're shopping for an indie deck, you will see that it is a bit bigger than the traditional. Oh, here, let me turn it around. Than the traditionally sized tarot deck. It's a little bit longer and a little bit wider. So I'm pulling out my dollar bill again and the traditional size tarot deck. So you can see that the indie deck, instead of the traditional size that's 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 inches, an indie deck is usually somewhere around 5 inches by 3 1/8 inch. So it's a bit longer and a bit wider. Your hands will get used to shuffling either type of deck. I just like to let you know what you're shopping for. Of course, everybody knows a traditional playing card, poker, cribbage, whatever. The traditional playing card. You see how that compares to my dollar bill here. A playing card is about 3 1/2 inches by about 2 1/2 inches. So you get an idea of how that compares. Again, I will compare that to the traditional deck. So it's significantly shorter and a little bit narrower. So now there are some decks out there that are oversized decks. And I saw this 10th anniversary edition of this indie deck, and I thought, ooh, that's a collectible. I want to buy that one. Oh my gosh, it's huge. This is the oversized version, the 10th anniversary edition of the Tarot of Trees. And it's a beautiful deck. I love the artwork on it. But when you compare it to the dollar bill, it's almost as long as a dollar bill, and it is significantly wider. So there isn't really a standard size for oversized decks, but usually if it says oversized, they really mean it. So be aware of that when you're shopping. Now, the final two sizes I wanted to talk about, I've frequently seen crossover in the description of a deck that I'm purchasing. I've seen items advertised as a pocket deck, and I've seen items advertised as a mini deck. Sometimes they use the same words in the description for the same item. So the biggest difference between the two, here I have a pocket deck of the Herb Crafters Tarot. Wow, I need more coffee or something. Herb Crafters Tarot. And then there's a mini deck. My example is the Witch's Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks. So there's a significant difference in size. So again, if I go back to my $1 billion bill, you can see the pocket deck is significantly smaller. If I compare that to the traditional tarot deck, it's, about a 1/2 inch shorter, and it's about a 1/2 inch more narrower. So the pocket size is smaller than the regular size deck. It's still a little bit on the big side. And I was shopping for something that I could carry around in my bag so I can play with cards whenever I want to, wherever I am. So the pocket deck, just so you know, the actual dimensions tend to be about 4 inches long by 2 1/4 inches wide. If you compare that with the mini deck is about 2 3/4 inches long by about 1.5 inches wide. So pay attention. I've gotten to the point where I don't really read the way the cards are described in the posting, whether it's on Amazon or Etsy or wherever. I look specifically for the dimensions. And so, you see them all. The oversized deck is the biggest. Then there's the indie deck, which is the next size down. The traditional size deck, pocket deck, mini deck, and then off to the side is the playing card, just as a frame of reference. And of course, my $1 billion bill. Whoops. I'm going to take this tarot shopping and I'm going to try not to spend it all in one place. If you found this video helpful, I am in the process of building out my website. I plan to write articles and link to YouTube videos, share links of where I find some of my decks. So please do, visit my site, bookmark it. I'm going to be updating content frequently. And if I could ask for your help, I would dearly love it if you were to share my website or my YouTube channel or Facebook page, just to kind of help get the word out and make people aware that, hey, there's a new tarot reference site that's in the process of being built. On my page, I do have a place for you to make suggestions. If you have an idea about a topic or something that you would like me to cover, if I can cover it, I'm more than happy to do that. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video. Bye now.